Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation, Friday, March the 18th. This is the feast of St. Cyril of Jerusalem. His sermons on mystagogia, or the sacraments, teaching the sacraments to the new catechumens, is absolutely gold. If you don't have the books, I'm sure you can get a lot of his sermons still probably on the internet for free. Any one of them is beautiful meditation, spiritual reading, during any time of the year, but especially during Lent or even the Easter season. Okay, so the Gospel recounts the famous episode of Joseph, the son of Israel, the youngest of the 12. He favored him, the coat, the Jacob's coat, the dream-colored coat and all that. Remember the famous play that was years ago? His other brothers, now Joseph is he's the last of the 12. He's his father's favorite of all the 12, and he's spoiled in a way. And Joseph doesn't realize that by saying what he's saying, he's just bringing on himself the anger of his other 11 brothers. I'm not sure he was just a young kid, I guess. And the older ones, the more they hear this stuff, the more they begin to resent him, and eventually it grows to a pitch when at some point they see Joseph coming to them with his colored dream coat, and they plot to kill him. And it's actually, I believe it's, Judas said to the brother, basically Judas is the one who finally steps in and says, we can't kill him, so let's just sell him, we'll sell him. So still, it's a horrible act, but he mitigates the crime by convincing his brothers, we cannot kill our brother. So they sell him to the Midianites or Ishmaelites, I think, Midianites. And he goes into Egypt, and so God works out his plan in Joseph's life, but Joseph can't see, in front of his face. This is going to take a lot of faith on Joseph's part. And the elder brothers will eventually, this will come home to bite them. How they grew to envy or to hate their brother, but at the same time, their brother kind of naively, basically he should have kept his mouth shut, maybe been more humble. I'll admit, hindsight's 20/20. Totally 20/20. It was more on them as the elders rather than him on the younger. But okay, I'm sort of approaching it from different angles so we can learn from this. That if we are favored, to be very humble about it. If we see others with gifts, to pray in thanksgiving for those gifts rather than let envy or jealousy take over our heart. But counteract them with acts of thanksgiving for that person and pray that they can use them well, and just try to do the very best with our own life, that God requires of us. That's what's really important. But you see here being set up, the working out of God's will, a wonderful plan. And Joseph will come to realize this, as he's living, he goes to prison, and then he's raised to a very high level, and his brothers come to him and so on. You got to read the book of Genesis. But it's just about, when we're going through a difficult time, we've got to be faithful to the Lord because he's working out his plan in our everyday life. Sometimes, and we can't see the forest for the trees, but we got to trust in him. Okay, the gospel, basically, Jesus is talking about there was a landowner who planted a vineyard, put a fence around it. Okay, then he sends people to get the produce. They beat some of them and they kill some of them. He sends his son and they kill his son. So then so it's, it's that parable. So basically Jesus is saying to the Pharisees and the ruling elites, you're like, you're the ones who were entrusted with the vineyard, with the church of God. You've been unfaithful and you're going to be swept aside. And of course, they're furious when they realize he's indicting them because of their infidelity. Okay, so looking back on this, you and I have been given a tremendous responsibility by the Lord to be faithful in our own vineyard. And we need to be very conscientious about being faithful to God. Remember at the scene of the Last Judgment, I know that love is a supreme virtue, it's the queen of the virtues, but what does Jesus say in Matthew, I think it's 25, at the scene of the Last Judgment? Good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your master. You did all these things. You fed me, visited me, gave me drink, and so on. And the other ones are unfaithful. So faithfulness is just so important. We need to pray every day that God would give us the grace to be faithful in all that He has and all that He asks us to do. All the treasures, spiritual treasures that He has entrusted to us, that we keep them, we help them to grow, cooperate with His grace, and do the best we can to mentor others, to be a good example to others, so that they benefit from the blessings that we have received. God bless you.